To say that 2020 has been a strange year is putting it lightly. We've received lots of camera bodies and lenses, but many more are rumored to come. Do you want to know more about the Canon M50 Mark II, the Cinema C50, or the much anticipated RF lenses? Or would you rather hear about the new Micro Four Thirds Panasonic Cine camera? Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Simon. Thanks for tuning into The Ordinary Filmmaker. If you're new here, subscribe to get notification of new videos like this one so you don't miss any news, rumors, or tutorials. And don't forget, I'm giving away a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera to one lucky viewer. Details are in the description down below, or you can watch this video here. The C50 won't be arriving this year, despite what we heard earlier. Canon rumor says that it was to be announced alongside the C70, but due to manufacturing issues, it isn't expected to be released until Q1 21. I guess I'll just have to wish for a C70 or C300 Mark III in the meantime to keep myself occupied. Previously, I had reported that the Canon M50 Mark II is coming out in the fourth quarter of 2020. And it appears that the camera is still happening. However, there's so much conflicting information on the EF mount. Is it being contained? Is it going to be retired? Or is it business as usual? I'd really be surprised if we'd make it through the end of the year without some sort of nod to the EF-M mount, a lens, a body, or something. We don't have much in terms of rumors on RF cameras that would replace the EF-M system, so I wouldn't get worried about the lack of information. The lack of information in the Sony camp led to many thinking that the A7S III was no more. Well, we all know how that turned out, don't we? On the lens front, we should see an RF 50mm f1.8 and the RF 70-200 f4 in the next couple of months. But that's it for 2020. For 21, you can expect to see the RF 100-400, f4.5 to 7.1, and the RF 18-45, f3.5 to 6.3 before the end of June. The RF 24mm, f2.8, it's not expected until the second half. That's it. For lenses not mentioned, and there's still an awful lot, don't expect anything until 2022, if at all. But after all, these are rumors, so anything's possible, and these are definitely not CR2s or CR3s. So please take this with a grain of salt. Speaking of salt, let's take a look at this image here. There are currently over 20 RF lenses rumored to be coming. Some of these, like the 35mm f1.2 or the 500mm f4, haven't received any update since early 2019. But now for a word from the Panasonic camp. Panasonic registered a Micro Four Thirds cinema camera coded as DC-BGH1. This information comes from Russia, but sadly, along with that leaked information, there are no specs or release date. But usually when it gets this far, we can expect more solid information in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for more. Now, over to the UK, where we've got some bad news. Olympus laid off 2/3 of their UK staff. The remaining staff will be transferred to continental Europe throughout October. No mention if this is due to the transfer of ownership to JIT or as a result of Brexit, or both. In this episode of Behind the Scenes, I want to talk about doing reviews. You'll notice that I'm putting out more reviews, I'm getting more gear coming in, and this is something I've looked forward to in an awful long time. The only problem? Reviews take an awful lot more work, not only to come up with what I want to talk about, what I want to review, the testing time, but also the editing time. It takes a lot longer than news updates or even the Q&A videos. And one of the biggest problems that I'm having, I'm making a ton of mistakes. So for example, what was that? I think it was Thursday? No, it was Friday, just a couple of days ago. I decided to test this FeelWorld Live Pro L1 video switching device for live streaming. And it went pretty well, and I was going to actually take a lot of that video as B-roll. The problem? Now, while both devices were outputting at 1920 by 1080, the streaming software that I was using, Ecamm, I didn't bother to check to see what it was set at. I thought, making assumptions here, you know what assumptions do to us, I thought that whatever the cameras were bringing in, it would probably use. No. You see, it was broadcasting at 720p, and it was recording to the disk at 720p. So it's totally useless. I had to re-record doing a private session, another video, so that way I could get my own B-roll. And I'm making lots of these mistakes. When I did the Pair Gear review, I was out there shooting, I set everything to C-Log, but something happened from when I shot one video, I went back to shoot my video, the camera decided it wasn't going to do C-Log anymore. And I know why. It was because I was using a custom mode, and really when I'm out in the field, I shouldn't be using the custom modes unless, of course, those custom modes are set up specifically for that job, and they weren't. So I've learned my lesson, use manual most of the time and just set it up properly there. And it's things like these that are giving me frustration, that I'm having to re-record videos, and it's just a different learning curve. Review videos are done very differently. You generally have to test things. And of course, don't delete footage. When I did the 800mm review about a month ago, I actually formatted the card, erasing a bunch of B-roll that I was going to use. Thankfully, I had more than enough that I was safe, but still, it's like anything else. You're going to have frustrations as you try new things when you do videos. Whatever it is you do, there's going to be a learning curve, and you know, you would think after doing this for about 11 months that no problem, I could do the reviews without an issue. But no, they're definitely taking me a lot of time, and I just got to roll with the flow, or roll with the punches and go with the flow. Yeah, even my sayings, I'm getting them mixed up, but that's just what I'm going through right now. But I am going to be reviewing more devices, more camera gear. I'm expecting some more shipments to come this week. I expect to publish the review on the Live Pro one of these days this week. It really depends on what information is coming out. And I'm doing mics, I'm getting more cameras. It's going to be a very exciting time as we get into the winter months here. But thanks so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. Don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win the Synco Lab Microphone S6E and their shotgun mic, the M3. I'll be giving these away to a lucky winner once I reach 20,000 subscribers, which is, I think, just under 6,000 subscribers to go. And when I reach 100,000 subscribers, I'm giving away a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera. And all the way up to 100,000, every 10,000, I'm going to be giving away a new prize. Who knows, I might even give away the Live Pro. Just have to wait and see, or a lens like the Pair Gear. But that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for engaging and watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon.